Good afternoon. We are back. Round 5, final round of Swiss. I'm joined once again by Vance. How you going?
Hey, I'm pretty good.
That's good. Anything amazing happen in the round you were missing?
No, look, I was mostly just watching along and playing some Hades in the background.
Oh yeah, Hades is
Um,
cool.
yeah, look, I got to watch our exciting draw. Um, you don't see a lot of natural, unintentional draws these days.
Yeah, although some would say that one was unintentional.
Highly unintentional, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we have listened to the chat, and we have got the birthday player on the stream for this game. As I press this button and go down to the table, on the left, Josh Bishop. On the right, Rob Lark. I don't know
Yeah.
what either of them are playing.
Well, one of them got Lutri as a companion, so that only leaves it to any deck playing blue or red.
Yeah, very true.
Uh, and Rob, not the Rob of Rob's MTG auction, but he does like to play that.
It's funny, yeah. Rob Lark does work for Rob's MTG Auctions as an auctioneer, but is not the titular Rob of Rob's MTG Auctions.
He's just a Rob.
uh,
Seems to have blue cards in his hand.
is that a Thoughtseize at the front? I cannot tell.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to tell.
Chat saying Lark is normally on Esper control. We'll have to find that out as the game progresses. And this looks like a turn 1 Thoughtseize out of
Thoughtseize off of Bayou.
Josh Bishop here.
Yeah. And it's getting mental misstepped.
Okay. So we've got a flurry of action on the first turn. Bayou is reasonably telling. Bayou plus Lutri sort of narrows us down to Bug or Jund. And Verdant Catacombs doesn't give us any more info, right? Or I guess, some sort of 4-color tile.
Yeah. Or could be all 5.
It could. It well and truly could.
They're all good colours, bro.
Yeah, we're only playing the good colours here, which is all 5 of them. Maybe a Reality Smasher, maybe an Astrolabe. We're just playing 7-color control, no biggie. And a Mental Note there?
Yeah.
Milling
And
Counterspell.
I don't know what that second card is, but it's incredibly shiny.
It was a land of some variety.
Yeah, okay.
Getting to the end of the day, so hopefully I don't have to change the the lighting too many more times.
Yeah.
I believe that's a Prismatic Vista, but I could be wrong. No? Okay. Fetching a Snow-Covered Swamp.
Yep.
Alright, so let's see what I can plug in here. Player 2 deck is Blue-Black X Control, I'm going to say.
Yeah, so looking at Rob's deck list, it looks like he's on Kess.
Ooh.
To me.
A Grixis pile of some sort, right?
And I say that on the grounds that his deck contains the card Kess Dissident Mage.
Ooh, I don't know if that's enough evidence. That could still be... Yeah, I got nothing here. There's some spicy cards in that list. We'll have to go through them in sideboarding here. As we're resolving a Hymn to Turak, taking 2 cards, Land and Brazen Borrower down for Josh Bishop. These two, just like in, I think it was the first round of coverage, we've really got both ends of the experience in Highlander here, Rob Lark's been playing Highlander for basically forever.
Yep.
And Josh Bishop's been playing for a few years. Picked up the format, I want to say about 2018, and has just never put it down. Just absolutely loves playing it.
And I mean, who wouldn't?
I'm biased. I think the format is great.
Yeah, look, I also may have some biases in this regard.
So we know that we now know that Josh is on at least Bug, and I think is that the Ketria Triome again?
Honestly, I could not tell you. The triomes, particularly like, full art, possibly alternate art triomes, are just not registered in my brain pan yet. Like the lack of physical magic over the last year has certainly dented some of my card recognition on some of these cards.
Yeah, definitely. Chat's telling us that is the Bug Triome, Zagoth.
That makes sense because a brainstorm was cast off it.
Oh yeah, I mean that makes plenty of sense. Yeah, I mean cool.
Yeah.
Oh gee whiz, not happy with this table setup. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna have to find something for tomorrow. We're gonna bring in a light bar. We're gonna do the whole lot.
Yeah.
Fetches all around.
Rob's deck being full of, foil alternate art cards isn't helping.
I mean, that's...
Yeah, it does make life a little bit difficult.
That's reasonably common in this format, right?
It's true. I mean, my deck's pretty alternate art and foil, I guess.
Yeah, the people that play this format really love this format. There's people in the room. There's John Paul Kelly in the room, whose deck is entirely foreign and foil.
Some of it's not foreign and foil, some of it's just beta.
Yeah, I mean, Volcanic Island, you can't get in foreign foil, so...
Yeah.
So this is Fetch Land, Opposition Agent, Force Pitching Baleful Strix.
Yeah.
A flurry of activity here.
No, it's good to see JP's down there.
Yeah, JP and Lark, both in from traveling. Of course, I mentioned before someone had to ask me what one of their cards was before the tournament. That was JP, actually. Aficionado of getting the coolest version of cards that he can.
Yeah.
Look, is that a Life from the Loam?
Yes. By the way the lands are being picked up, I'm going to go with yes.
Okay, alright. What is this then? Rug?
Like rug lands, maybe?
Oh, it's 4-color. There's a Volcanic and a Bayou.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Just mono spice dot.
Yeah, I mean, let's just let's see how it pans out. Hey, is that Lutri in play? It's got to be just in the sideboard at the moment, right?
Yeah, that Lutri is moving dangerously close to the battlefield, but has not been put in hand yet.
Well, if Josh reaches to attack with it, we're going to have words with him.
Yeah. But yeah, JP not actually a traveller anymore. He moved to Melbourne a while ago, but
I see.
You have mostly not been able to leave your houses for a while, so you may not have encountered him.
Very true. Yeah, there's been this sort of phantom year of 2020, which existed in some capacity and didn't exist elsewhere, and no one actually knows if it happened or if it was just a fever dream. Nobody wants to know. And that's picking up a Lutri. All right.
Which is why it's so exciting that we're getting to have events like this. I'm really glad that Tabernacle thought that this was something that they wanted to run.
Yeah.
Because it gets people a chance to get out, play the game with people. Because as we all know, like, Magic's a perfectly fine game to play online or whatever.
It's fine.
It loses some of the, if you will, magic of the experience.
On the contrary, it loses the gathering of the experience.
Well, yes, indeed. It loses all of the gathering and some of the magic.
We see a end-step Colligan's command here, getting... I think that was a
counterspell.
I think that was a daze, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's possible that was a daze. Just paying full retail for it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, look, it may well have been. Amongst the alternate arts that I don't recognise, I sure can't recognise the Amonkhet invocations from more than about a foot away.
Oh yeah, they're tough ones. They really are. Nope, that was Counterspell.
Okay.
Definitely Counterspell. The Sphere is Counterspell, and Daze is a pool with birds.
Of course it is.
Good to know. Alright, yeah, easy to remember.
Yeah, why not? Oh yeah, I can see from that art you have up on the screen that that is the art of that counterspell.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what we do on coverage. We pull up a card. Does the lighting and the colouring match that card? Yep, great. It doesn't add more pixels to the screen so that I can clearly define it. I can't even see the horrible font on Counterspell, let alone read it. But
not even close.
That's the thing with Magic, is that once you've played it long enough, you do start to sight read these cards really well.
Yeah.
Ooh, Ethereal Forager here.
Oh, I love Ethereal Forager.
Yeah, it's slowly creeping its way into more and more decks in the format.
Yeah.
It's not everywhere yet, uh, and I like it more now that I think it's being played more now that Ancestral and Time Walk are seeing less play.
Well, it was very good with those.
It was
Um,
awkward with those. Like, if you got them back, that was insane, and if you didn't, they were exiled.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It was really, all or nothing there. You couldn't. Now that it's getting, that one here, what, Colligan's Command, and I think there was a cantrip in there.
I think it was like Colligan's Command, Mental Notes, presumably a counterspell of some kind.
Yeah, yeah. So it's getting good cards.
Actual counterspell, as it turns out.
Counterspell, Mental Note, Dismember, Colligan's
Ah,
Command.
Dismembers that other one. Yeah.
So it's getting good cards. Don't get me wrong. It's just that if these get exiled forever, that's not the end of the world.
Yeah, look, if they get exiled forever, it's not the end of the world. But even if you only get one back, like you've played a threat for 2 mana or so, you cracked in for 3, and you've drawn a counterspell.
That's exactly
That's pretty
right.
exciting. And if you get to crack in next turn, you get probably Colligan's Command back, depending on what the opponent's doing.
Yeah, or it depends on your hand as well. You could just get the Thought Scour.
The opponent's playing Field of the Dead, and it's already online.
Okay, well, let's get that one on the screen here. Field of the Dead, banned in some amount of formats.
Yeah.
And it's just going to have this sort of cerebral effect on the game. For the rest of the game, Josh cannot draw blanks. If Josh draws a land, it's a 2/2.
That's right. And it gets out of control pretty quickly. It's nowhere near as bad in Highlander as it is in something like Standard, where you might have, 3 of the stupid things in play.
It's also really good with fetch lands.
Oh, it's so good with fetch lands.
The fact that Josh played it for turn, got a zombie, and has this end step, crack a fetch land, get another zombie play.
Yeah, that's right. So the zombie he's got is being somewhat brazenly sent away. And the borrower is on an adventure.
And of course, I mentioned that if Josh draws a land, Josh could choose to draw life from the loam at any point here.
Yeah.
Getting, any fetch land and Lonely Sandbar there in the cycling scheme of things. So, it doesn't even cost a draw step.
Yep.
So very powerful. The interaction between Loam and Field of the Dead and these cycling cards. I'll pull back the curtain a bit. I'm in a couple of group chats with Josh, and I've tried to convince him to play Library of Alexandria in this deck, and he's not on board for it.
Oh, really?
A mistake, to be sure.
It feels like Library would be great.
Yeah, right?
It's not going to be hard to get your hand up to 7.
Yeah, Loam plus Library, it's a match made in heaven.
Plus, if he played a Library here, he'd also get a 2/2.
Ooh, there you go. It's not even tempo negative. But on the other hand, this shark is a little bit worried. This whale.
Yeah, Sky Whale.
Unfortunately, the table needs me. So Vance, you've got this one. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay, no problem. So I think we're just searching up a land maybe we've failed to find, I think. It seems unlikely, but possibly everything that Wooded Foothills could find is already in play, or maybe he fetched it and I wasn't paying attention, but because I think he's on less than 7 lands now. So Life from the Loam will fix that pretty quickly. We're almost making a mistake, but now we're doing this in the correct order. You have to cast the Life from the Loam before you get the cards back, not dredge the Life from the Loam. And we already know Rob has a counterspell off his Ethereal Forager, which, again, is just showing how much advantage this beautiful beast of the sky gives you if it stays in play for a couple of turns. All right, and now we're lootering the Life from the Loam. badly needing to get that Field of the Dead back online. After, what I can only assume was that there were no targets for the Wooded Foothill, which is a tiny bit embarrassing. But, it's one of those things that happens sometimes in Highlander. You've only got so many targets for any given fetch land. And when you've got to fill your mana base out with things like Lonely Sandbar or Field of the Dead or whatever, bad stuff can happen. Don't actually know why. Possibly maybe I don't know what Field of the Dead does. I'm not 100% sure why that didn't trigger there, but maybe it's if you have 7 other lands. That's entirely plausible. Wales coming in, putting Josh on, I think, 5. I can't actually see the life total from here, and with Jimbo out of the room, it's a tiny bit hard to tell. Oh, no, okay, so that was at end of turn. So he's going down to 7, countering the Brazen Borrower so that he doesn't, die. And we've got 7 plays 8, and I would definitely want to be Rob Lark in this situation. Like, it's not closed out yet, but Rob's doing pretty well on board and has just all of the non-lands in hand.
Man of many hats is back.
How are you doing?
You gotta love communication policy violations.
Oh, okay.
That's a rare one, but, they happen. What did I miss? Just some lands, some zombies.
Well, so no zombies. So the interesting thing that happened that you missed is Josh cracked Wooded Foothills and didn't put a land into play, making me think that all his lands he could fetch were already currently in play, and he did not realize. Well, already in play or in his graveyard, possibly from the
Life from the Loam. Yeah, that is an awkward facet of these field decks. You really have to be on top of what lands you have access to, what lands you've already fetched. What is left in your deck for each fetch land.
And then, unless I don't know what the text of Field of the Dead is, which is distinctly possible, I think he's failed to put a zombie into play for that island.
So he played the snow-covered island this turn?
Yeah.
It's only the 7th land. Was there another land? I don't think he has played that this turn.
No, he did.
What did he play?
So,
because he cracked the flooded,
because he cracked the
Wooded Foothills. Yeah, sure.
Wooded Foothills, yeah.
Right.
But
look, you are allowed to miss triggers.
Yeah.
These things happen, and that's part of the skill of playing in Paper Magic. Is that if you miss something, it's going to cost you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rob just continuing to go off with the cards he's got from this whale.
Yeah, Colligan's Command, eating the loot tree, returning Brazen Borrower.
Yeah.
How did the Brazen Borrower die? I missed that step.
So I don't. Oh no, the Brazen Borrower got counted on its way down.
Sure. Okay. Yep. There's a mana leak there.
Yeah.
Him to Turak here. I think they're deciding which card is kept.
Yeah.
Cool. No worries.
Position away with 3 cards.
And
so hit
the mental misstep. So it's just Lonely Sandbar left in hand then.
Just Lonely Sandbar. Yeah. That land looks a lot like a Thespian stage to me.
It does. It does look like a Thespian stage. Perhaps looking to copy the Field of the Dead and get some insane number of zombies.
Or that Dark Depths. Is that Dark Depths that just went to the bin?
That is.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
That's also a pretty good thing to...
I don't know what to think of this deck. Counter spells. All we've seen is counter spells and this Loam stuff.
Yeah. Counterspell depths.
Yeah, generic blue cards and Life from the Loam.
Yeah. So if this Loam resolves, it seems really good for not Rob.
There's an Assassin's Trophy there in the graveyard as well.
Yeah. Except we can only deploy one of these lands this turn.
Yeah, that is the struggle. The fact that all of these... that looks like a cycling for a life from the loam. All of these, blue cards do take up the spots that the generic lands cards fill.
So
Exploration, Ramanap Excavator, maybe Fast Bond. You could see something like Growth Spiral. Growth Spiral or Uro, and I think, I'm going to have to pull this one up on the screen, I think that in the graveyard there, we just milled over a Raven's Crime.
Oh yes, that does look, yeah, that is a Raven's Crime, you're quite right.
That is sick.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's good, but it's sick.
Yeah, look, Raven's Crime is really good with Life from the Loam.
Absolutely. It always has been, it is a slow burn.
I don't actually know who just conceded there.
I think Lark had lethal, so Josh was on 4 life.
Right, yeah, okay.
The whale was 1. I think he just didn't have an answer to the whale in time. We'll drag it back into my office here, the booth. I do have Lark's deck list. I don't have Josh's. So let's have a look here at what Rob Lark has to offer. Let's see. We have in the sideboard Blue Blast, Red Blast, Pyroblast, Duress, Feed the Swarm, Nullrod, Trickbind, Anger of the Gods, Ashiok, Blood Moon, Hull Breacher, Liliana the Last Hope, Toxic Deluge, Kalitas, Submerge.
Yeah, Ashiok seems pretty good.
Yep.
Exile in the Graveyard seems fantastic, in fact.
Sure, yeah, against any Loam deck. Well and truly.
And even just, stopping him searching the library for lands.
Yeah, very true.
Pretty exciting.
You've also got the Blood Moon there, which screams that, it needs to come in here.
Yeah, Blood Moon seems great. Not a lot of other super exciting cards. You might bring in some of the Red Blasts just as additional cheap counter spells, because there were a lot of blue counter wars going on. What's in Josh's sideboard?
I actually don't have Josh's deck list here, unfortunately.
Okay, well, let's imagine what might be in Josh's sideboard.
What might be in Josh's sideboard? So, 4-color...
I mean, I think he's reasonably likely to also be bringing in sort of Red Blasts or Veil of Summer kind of cards.
I'd be very surprised to not see those.
Yeah.
Just the generic Blast plus Veil, maybe Carpet of Flowers, Sylvan Library.
Yeah, potentially.
If they're not in the main deck already, that is.
But otherwise, it's just sort of generic good stuff. And I mean, lands, if you get the right hand, lands can be very good against a control opponent because they can't counter your stuff.
Yeah.
If you're just strip mining and wastelanding them, or dark depthing them.
Yeah, that's right. We saw the dark depths there in game 1. Do you think that stays in for game 2? I think it's hard to imagine a world where depths and field are both good, right?
Yeah, they're kind of at different ends of the land spectrum.
Yeah, one of them, you want to play it on turn 2, and oops, here's a 20/20. You've got 1 out in your deck. Do you have it right now? Good luck.
Right.
And the other is, hey, it's turn 7. I'm going to make zombies every turn for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And get you eventually. Sort of like the Liliana the Last Hope emblem, except one at a time.
Yeah, that's right. Look, it's a little bit hard without the deck. It's a little bit hard to tell because Josh might need to keep them both in just because they might be his only 2 ways of winning the game.
Yeah, very true. Unless there might be... I mean, that's the thing. You could board in generic green cards here.
It's true.
We could see out of the sideboard...
Slap out a Questing Beast.
Yeah, Questing Beast, Thrun, Shifting Ceratops, all of the green anti-control cards. We're just doing some work on the camera here in between the rounds, trying our best to get some semblance of steady light. We're going to be shifting to a different table for the top 8 after this game.
Okay.
So that we don't have the sun through the window, and we have, consistency, and hoping that that's good enough. As for now, we're going to get down to the table. They've just shuffled up and dealing out their 7s.
Yeah, so the answer to Dan Borwars in the chat, yeah, it's hard to tell. There is a lot of blue, but there is a dark depths in it. We saw dredged out on just before the concession of the last game. So we're not 100% sure what the plan is.
And
but it appears to be lands adjacent.
Uro really does sort of bridge the gap between playing lands and playing control,
Yeah, it's true. When I was talking about possible lack of other win conditions, I can't imagine this deck doesn't contain Uro.
Yeah, Uro, probably Oko.
Those both seem very likely.
Yeah.
And in that case, you might be right. Maybe you side out the dark depths and you just go for a more controlling game plan and just try and land one of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which are both kind of nasty for Rob to permanently deal with.
Both players fetching out an Underground Sea on turn 1. Rob leading with an Inquisition into a mental misstep for the piece of glare that Josh countered with. We'll have to see what that glare was and whether the misstep's good enough. Okay, the glare was a Spell Pierce. Misstep going to counter that. Revealing push, something, counterspell, force, land. Only 2 lands here. Taking counterspell proper. No, taking preordain.
Oh, yeah.
Leaving a hand of force, counterspell, fatal push, and thespian stage.
Yeah, I like taking the preordain there because it leaves just with kind of nothing to do.
Yep, and the counterspell can't even be cast right now. Without, a blue land draw. Thespian stage, not the best at casting it.
No, I mean, with another land draw, you could eventually turn Thespian Stage into an Underground Sea.
Ooh, cheeky. Even your opponent's Underground Sea. I like that one better.
Yeah.
Ponder out of Rob here. I saw a land. I don't see a shuffle. So he likes the land.
I think he took that land and put it immediately into play.
Yeah, I mean, ran it through his hand first to ensure that nobody noticed it was the one from the Ponder. Looks like a Drown in the Lock, the draw there. And bad lands, reconsidering. Mystic Sanctuary instead. Okay, that's a cool old border Mystic Sanctuary.
Yeah, Rob just deciding that the Mystic Sanctuary is not going to get anything back anytime soon.
Yeah, especially with Badlands as the other land in hand.
Yeah, exactly. And he'd rather just deploy his lands and have 4 mana untapped this turn.
Yeah, use the mana while you've got it. And he gets to show off a cool foil old border Mystic Sanctuary.
Yes.
That's the real prize here. Also, happy birthday, Rob Lark.
Happy birthday, Rob Lark. It's been a delight to have him on the stream anyway, because this has been a really interesting match.
Yeah.
But,
Josh drawing the 3rd land, adding Loot Tree, and Vendilion Click coming down here.
Vendilion Click, of
so we've
course.
got Counterspell, Push, Force, Loot Tree, Misstep, Pyroblast, Other Force.
So just mono counterspells.
Yeah. Wow. I
don't know if I'd take a card.
I would really consider taking the Force. Sorry, not the Force, the Fatal Push. There isn't a red land for the Pyroblast, and that means that this click could just, I don't know if you've ever been in a position, you're not much of a counterspell aficionado, but when you're sitting there holding 5 counterspells and your opponent has a 3-1 in play, it's not good.
I've certainly been on the other side of that equation. Not so much with 3-1s, but with
2 3s.
2 3s and 3 3s. Yeah, absolutely.
Shout outs to Kurt.
Absolutely. You deploy someone the first turn or two, and your opponent's just like, well, that's not the game I want to play.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to mix it up with the removal. But that's not the world we're living in. A different card was taken. It was the Lutri was taken. I guess Lutri... No, I don't buy it. Alright.
Look, Lutri does a lot of things, and the Fatal Push isn't online at the moment. There's no way of making it hit a greater than 2.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
And also, I rate the odds that Rob has additional counterspells is pretty high.
Going for a Thought Scour on himself at the end of turn, milling over a land and a Dark Confidant.
I am so impressed that you can tell that that's a Dark Confidant.
I got to see it before the light got to it, don't you worry.
Okay.
I do actually have access to Josh's deck list here as well, actually, so that's...
cool.
Wow, there is some spice in here. I'm hoping we go to a game 3 so I can talk about this.
Red Blast getting Blue Blasted, getting Mental Misstepped.
A flurry of stuff.
Yeah. Rob considering countering some more, or...
So I'm looking through the deck list. It is generic blue cards and Loam stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Nothing fancy about it, just, you know.
So the Red Blast, no, not a Red Blast, it's a Pyroblast.
Pyroblast, yeah.
It's still on the stack, and Rob is drowning it in a lock.
Okay.
But there's still a lot of counterspells and forces on the other side that can be...
Yeah. You don't want to be firing off forces. Like, I think if you're in Rob's seat and your opponent fires off that force, leaves himself with the hand of just Fatal Push, you're laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, so lots of resources expended, and Vendilion Clique is down.
Yeah, it looks like the Shockland played untapped there to represent Force of Will. I can't tell what the other land in play is. All I know is that it was red.
Yeah, same, because it cast Pyroblast.
Let's have a look, see if I can figure it out from the deck list. It's not a Triome. Badlands... In fact, Badlands and Volcanic Island are the only red sources in the deck. So I'm definitely not certain what that land is.
My guess is that it's Badlands, but it could be either.
It's got a foil sticker on the bottom.
Oh, then I don't know what it is.
Well, alright, on to the action. Culligan's Command. Got to be going for discard, rebuy Confidant, maybe? Rebuy Click?
Rebuy Click is pretty good.
They're both really good here. Click allows you to keep breaking the turn parity.
Yeah. But Dark Confidant, you can cast this turn.
Yeah, that's the tricky bit. I mean, Dark Confidant just does trade with a push cleanly.
It does. It does.
Force pitching other force in... But what about tapping 3... Okay. Lark cracking a fetch land, going to 16.
Okay, I am confused now.
We are living on the edge of our seats. Perhaps that's like a fiery islet, maybe? Is there a fiery islet in the deck? There's not a fiery islet. There's no cracklands in the deck.
Anyway.
Isn't that the Thespian stage that we saw, or no?
Oh, it might be a Thespian stage, and maybe it's copying a Badlands.
Maybe it's copying a Badlands. Alright, we solved the riddle. Kess, Dissident Mage.
Yeah, and if Kess resolves, it's really bad times. And,
absolutely. So, Kess is sort of... I mean, it's the namesake of the deck.
Yeah.
You know, Kess Pile, Grixis Kess, Kess beats you up. Many different words, all meaning that this 3-4 card advantage engine is going to put a dent in things. And that is one of the cards I wanted to talk about. I'm going to get that one up on the screen here. That is Hour of Promise.
Something? Hour of Promise.
Yeah, search your library for up to 2 lands. Any lands you want. Put them on the battlefield tap, shuffle your library. If you control 3 deserts, you get some zombies. I've got a hunch here that Josh is not going to control that many deserts, but there is going to be a Field of the Dead and 1 more land, and that makes 7 lands. We did see Dark Depths in the deck still. So that could be a neat little double-pronged attack. No, actually, I definitely wouldn't get Depths. Josh is going to go get Dark Depths. We're going to see some tension between Field of the Dead and Dark Depths. You know, there's 7 lands exactly in play. And if the Thespian stage copies Dark Depths, we're going down to 5 lands in play. So that's
Going down to 5 lands, but getting a 20/20, so that's not a terrible exchange.
yeah, very true. And of course, Field of the Dead getting
Oh.
2 zombies on the way in because it sees the other land enter at the same time.
And Rob's just cast Ancestral Recall,
Is that good?
and he's just going to do it again because that's the thing that Kess does. So,
Yeah. You got some zombies, cool. I'll draw 6 cards.
yeah, 2 mana draw 6 is okay.
Yeah,
I'm told.
I'm
I
a
feel
big
like
fan of
we'd
drawing
find it.
cards.
Yeah.
And that's part of the power of Kess, is that once it's in play, you know, Snapcaster costs you mana to use it. And Mission Briefing and Direfleet Daredevil, all of these cards that let you recast things from the graveyard cost mana. This just is.
Yep. You can do it on your turn, you can do it on their turn. So
You
you
don't-
always have a counterspell available.
You don't have to target... it's only on your turn. You don't have to target like Jace Vryn's Prodigy, so you don't have to stress about, you know, picking a counterspell and then casting a high-value spell and hoping that they counter back so your counterspell gets value. You get to, you know, read it as it comes.
Yep.
Josh's hand here, Fatal Push, Life from the Loam.
Rob Lark's hand here, about a third of his deck.
Oh, Ashiok Dream Render.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if Josh Bishop had any dreams of making it into the winner's seat in this game, they may have just been rendered. Is rent? Is that a word? You know, the past form of rend.
Yeah. Something can be rent asunder.
Rend past form. I mean,
But we've just
rent
got...
or rendered. Okay, because it's all good. Because rent's a different word. Anyway,
It's true. the joys of English. So we've just got something in play with a lot of counters on it, and I don't have faith.
Dark Dance.
Oh, of course it is. Right. Yes.
Shoutouts to Rob Lark, not using the dice provided. Josh Bishop really wants to put the screws in him and say, oi, use these dice. Nope, alright, that's a lightning bolt to kill a zombie. Ashiok surviving on 2 life. But that turns on the revolt. A zombie dead. And now Kess is off the
Now
table.
Kess is down.
Really just a trade there of Ashiok for Kess.
Yeah.
And a fetch
And we get
land.
another zombie back because there are essentially infinite zombies available at this point.
Yeah, and there's a Loam there now as well. I mean, granted, the Ashiok's going to mean that the Loam can't get 2 out of hand. But
No.
Loam plus that fetch land... Okay, and opting to tick down the Ashiok, I guess, you know, it's not going to survive much longer with a pair of zombies staring down the barrel at it.
No. But the bigger problem for Rob is that Thespian Stage is making a thing that is
Sure.
very likely going to kill him directly in the face.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure whether I would do that or just copy the Field of the Dead and carry on in that attack. Unfortunately, I've lost the life total dice again. They've been knocked off the stream, but we'll see if we can get them back. There's a Marit Large. They don't call him Marit Small.
Is Rob dismembering Marit Liege to stay alive?
I think that's an attempt to. Oh no, that was a Cling to Dust.
Oh, Cling to Dust. Okay. That makes
Okay,
much
yeah,
more sense.
it does share some similarities with Dismember in some artworks. Oh, thank you. 9 plays. Alright, I love it when they come back on screen and I didn't have it wrong. Big fan, big fan.
Excellent. But there's a 2020 coming over, and I
Yeah.
think Rob is, you know, desperately trying to draw off the top with his Cling to Dust.
Brazen Borrower is probably the out of choice here. I can consult the deck list and see what else Rob has the ability to get out of this with. We have Liliana's Triumph won't do it. Fatal Push won't do it.
Nothing will do it as it looks.
No?
Well, certainly
Alright.
nothing that got drawn.
Well, let's pop back into the booth again, and we can chat through Josh's sideboard now that we have the full information. And we'll chat about some of the other stuff in the deck as well. We did see the Uro. We did see the Hour of Promise. There is Uro, Growth Spiral, Explore in the main deck as well. Ren and 6. And then just generic blue stuff. In the sideboard for Josh,
Hour of
Lutri.
Promise is just such amazing spice.
It's really good. Lutri, Nihil Spellbomb, 3 blasts, no Pyroblast?
I think we saw a Pyroblast get cast.
We'll have to check the tapes on that one. I digress. Nature's Claim, Ashiok, Dream Render, Opposition Agent, Nullrod, Veil of Summer, Toxic Deluge, Duress, Cindivines, Submerge, Fairy Macabre. Now, obviously, we saw some blasts come in.
Yep.
We didn't see the Ashiok come in.
No, but I kind of think that after that game, if I was in Josh's seat, I would be very tempted to bring in some of the graveyard hate.
Mm-hmm.
Rob's got a lot of stuff going on, between Kess and Snapcaster and Cling to Dust and etc.
Absolutely, yeah. Even just cards like Colligan's Command.
Well, and the Ethereal Forager.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Forager.
So the graveyard hate of choice, they're Nihil Spellbomb and Ashiok Dream Render. Yep, both of them really good in that they're not dedicated. The Ashiok has other words on it, giving this taxing effect on shuffling, and it's not a one-shot. You use it and it stays around. Spellbomb is a one-shot, but then you draw a card.
Yeah, and I think with Ashiok, correct me if I'm wrong, you can mill yourself and exile their graveyard?
Yes.
Which could be something that a lands deck is interested in doing something.
Absolutely. We'll head down to the table now as they're drawing their opening 7s.
Yeah. Rob's got Deathrite, which is Death Rot by a Metal Misstep.
I'm just sitting here counting Josh's deck list to make sure that the Pyroblast makes sense. Alright, I'll leave this with you for a moment as I run away from the scary glare.
Yep, there is a lot of glare going on, so we could I can't really see what the cards are, but I'm sure Rob will take a good one. So we're taking a Lightning Bolt. Lovely full art GP Lightning Bolt. And then, moving on from there. Players are just pausing while the question's being asked. So Jimbo's just checking that the deck lists and the decks match up, because there is a volcanic island on the line, so we don't want to muck this up. Volcanic Island is worth, I don't know, $1 squillion approximately, depending on its condition. So we just wanted to make sure that the players haven't accidentally included a card that is not supposed to be in their deck, and gain some advantage out of that. So just, making sure that our tournament integrity is maintained.
I've returned.
While we do that, so it looks like the hand contains I'm pretty sure that's an Uro, maybe a Spell Pierced, some land or other. All good? And nothing else much of excitement is happening. So, you there, Jimbo? Rob's just continuing to deploy land. He's cracking whichever fetch land that happens to be. I'm guessing it's a Bloodstained Mire by the lines on the bottom, but I actually don't have the foggiest. No, it's probably not a Bloodstained Mire, because I'm pretty sure that's an island that is just the glariest island I've ever seen. but I think it's a foil snow-covered island. Into Ashiok, everyone's favorite. So Ashiok, as we saw before, poses a fair bit of a problem for the lands deck. It's not insurmountable, but losing access to the graveyard is pretty nasty. Getting milled out is pretty much never going to happen, but losing to the access is terrible. Chat is telling me that might be a Zagoth Triome and a Tasiga. Those are plausible, although you're not casting Tasiga for cheap at the moment. In the hand, yeah, that's definitely a Tasiga.
Gee whiz, Vance with the hard carry on this round. We're going to just transition back into the booth here for a second as Josh continues discussions with the judge of the event. I believe that the deck list contains a Red Blast and what he's playing is a Pyroblast.
Okay.
And they're just considering which one he intended to play. There's two different solutions for one or the other. Whether he intended to play what he is playing or whether he intended to play what was written down. So they're going to sort that out. And we're going to actually put up the BRB screen and hopefully come back to you with the remainder of that game or the top 8. Vance, thanks for joining me. I'll hopefully be back in a couple of minutes because I want to see the end of that match. That was a cool match.
Yeah.
And if I don't see you for that, then I'll see you around for the top 8, either in chat or on the commentary.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Press that button. Hi, I'm back. We're back. There was a judge thing. There was the head judge determined it was a deck problem. The player intended to play what was on their deck list. Basically, they're in the process of fixing that error at the moment, and then the game is continuing from where it is. We're going to head down to the table. There was a time extension on this match as well, so we're going to get that timer on screen as we are back down here at the table. Welcome back, Vance. Can't get rid of you.
Nah, you're stuck with me. And look, as deck list errors go, Red Blast, Pyroblast instead of Red Blast, it's mostly quite similar.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. They're almost all the same thing. If they were vastly different cards, there would definitely be some very pointed questions being asked.
Yep.
At the time, the question was just, which did you intend to play? And we've got the fix, and here we are. Onwards and upwards.
Which is good.
What have I missed? There's an Ashiok?
Yeah, so there's been an Ashiok in play eating away Josh's graveyard.
Yep.
But not a lot else has happened, really.
Okay.
There is or was an Uro in hand, and so that Ashiok's going to make Uro pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, you can always cycle it, but that's not where you want to be with your...
No, absolutely not.
Your bomb card like that.
Yeah.
Okay, we have the round clock on the screen now, just shy of 10 minutes on the clock as we speak. Big extension for the multiple pauses through that round.
Yeah, look. As we were saying, you want to make sure you get these things right. You want it to be fair. But you also don't want to have judge calls cause the end of the match unnecessarily. So.
Well, that's exactly right. These players, they're live. They're playing for top 8, I believe. They're X1-1. So the winner is in with a shot. And the runner-up is definitely not in the top 8.
Yeah, X1-1 should usually make the top 8.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's some really screwy things going on, which can happen right at the edge of an extra round.
Yeah, exactly. So after this round, there's going to be the top 8, and I'm super excited to see who's going to make the top 8. I know that Isaac Egan ID'd in a Raven's Crime being cast. I like it.
I think that is a Raven's Crime being cast and a Lightning Bolt being discarded to it.
Okay. And this is a pretty good situation for Lark here. Got a creature in play, got a hate card in play. I'm not certain how much loyalty is on the Planeswalker.
Ashiok? I think it's 2, but I'm not going to swear to that.
Well, we'll see if we can get our lovely production team down there to replace it with a nice big readable die. Was that a deprive?
Might have been, yeah.
Let's consult the deck list here. Instance. I don't see deprive, so maybe I'm just seeing things wrong.
But there's also a...
All right, we're updating the life total die. There we go. All right,
There's a 1. Okay.
it's on a 1.
Yeah, look, I wasn't sure exactly how many times it had been activated, particularly with the break.
Yeah, it's it's difficult to keep track of these things on a good day with the glare, with the constant breaks. It's been a wild ride today. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, that's a brainstorm. Good lord.
Yeah, alternate arts.
Yeah. And I'm just,
So this Ashiok on 1 is not a very great tool against this Loam that's in the graveyard, against Uros that might come out here.
It's not, but it's done a fair bit of damage already, and I mean, I would have been tempted to just kill the Loam, although I guess the Loam isn't doing a huge amount unless you put multiple lands into your bin. Oh no, that was just the Dark Depths.
Just a Dark Depths there. I think the key here is that Josh doesn't play many cyclers.
Yeah.
Next to no canopy lands. And I think there's only one of the Onslaught cycling lands, the Lonely Sandbar.
Yep.
Very Lonely being the only one there. And Raven's Crime getting cast again.
Yeah, Raven's Crime eating up that, again, new art, but probably Red Blast.
Red Elemental Blast, that one, yeah. And I guess the Raven's Crime did allow Josh to discard the Flooded Strand and then loam it plus Dark Depths back.
Yeah, making the Loam much better.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty happy to fire off this Ashiok here. I mean, yes and no, there is a Flooded Strand in play on the other side. So, it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other, honestly.
Yeah, stopping them getting to their 4th land is pretty good. That's for sure. But the problem is if you don't do it, they might be able to start getting this Uro online.
Yeah,
and,
I'd be quite worried about the next one. The next Loam turn, it's more Raven's Crimes.
It's more Raven's Crimes. It's the possibility of Uro accidentally escaping, although you need a bunch more mana for that.
Now, on the flip side, if that Ashiok activated 5 times, targeting Josh for the mill for each one, Josh might not have cards in deck to stall out this game with Field.
No, he might not have enough lands left in his deck. Like we saw on that last one, Tropical Island, I'm pretty sure.
Tropical Island went, yeah.
I'm not sure what else has gone, but...
Very thin deck there.
His deck's got to be down to less than 30 cards for sure.
So, I mean, Exile 20, there's, what is that, 10, 11, 12, 13 odd cards in play, and Loam came across 2 or 3 times?
Yeah, I think Loam was twice.
So that's an extra 6 cards, so 40 cards gone.
Yeah, so he's on about 20 to 22 cards in deck.
Yeah.
And we're unlikely to come down to decking.
Yeah, I mean, the clock will come into it before that.
Yeah.
Well and truly. But
it does mean that getting to enough lands for Field of the Dead to both become active and be,
That's exactly right, because, it's not just get to 7 lands. It's get to 7 lands, and, that makes 1 zombie. That's not going to do it. Does the second zombie do it? Does the third zombie do it? By that point, you're asking for 9,
Yeah.
Thoughtseize coming down, Bolt getting fired off, revealing just a Submerge. No creatures over on Josh's side.
No. The only creature he's likely to have is going to be a 20/20.
The tough question here is, does Josh still have access to Thespian Stage?
Yeah, and that I could not tell you.
Yeah, that's a Tasigur in hand, though, actually. Tasigur gifts Gifts here is a death knell. That's you don't want to be casting that. We were just talking about how there's only 16 odd cards left in deck. Loam's gone. Gifts is a big trap.
Yeah.
Did I get the life loss for the Thoughtseize? I didn't. I'm not certain on the life total, but thank you very much to Strobbins in chat for pointing out that we may have missed that. Josh has 2 hands full of lands right now. Not sure what the plan is with them. And that should be a zombie. There should be a zombie in play. For 7 different lands. And Josh is casting the gifts.
Yeah, I agree with you. Casting gifts here is... Look, it might win the game. If the Thespian stage is still in there.
Sure. I mean, I guess Lark is empty-handed. But you don't have access to Loam.
You don't have access to Loam. You're not putting enough things in the bin to turn Uro on.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting the gifts in the bin as well. You'll be able to make Uro next turn. Definitely not this turn.
Well, the problem with the plan of making Uro next turn is you're dead.
Very true. Yeah, I'm not certain on the life totals
Josh
here.
is on 2, which we're not 100% sure about, but I think that roughly lines up with my thinking, then got to do something now.
That's exactly it. There needs to be an out for this Vendilion Click. Perhaps is scrolling through looking for all of the possible answers to Vendilion Click, seeing if there's 3+ of those.
Yeah, look, you've got, Fatal Push,
Bolt.
The Pyroblast, Bolt.
Definitely no Pyroblast. There is a red Elemental Blast.
Right. Whichever blast it happens to be. Yeah, I think the Bolt might have been flipped by Ashiok some time ago.
Sure. What a nightmare game for coverage this one is.
Yeah.
Looking through the deck there for Josh, I see Force, I see Evasive Action, I see the other Force. I'm not seeing much in the way of proactivity.
No, and look, as we said, it might just be that... So what do we get? We got...
I've got confirmation.
Decay,
Josh is on
Snapcaster.
3.
Okay.
Ren and 6,
Ren
Abrupt
6.
Decay, with the 2 chosen to go to the graveyard. It didn't matter what the other 2 were if they couldn't kill the click. Josh being on 3 meant that, that was it. We'll drag it back into the booth here.
Yeah, good lord.
As we finally fought our way to the end of that round. We'll be back real soon with the top 8 information. Really excited. I don't know. I'm just excited to find out who's not in the top 8, because that's probably who's going to be joining me in the booth in this seat right here. Vance, you've been lovely. Sorry for putting you on the spot and running away from the table multiple times.
No, that's fine. As we were saying, you've got to make sure that we maintain the integrity of the tournament.
That's exactly right.
Even if it is a completely innocent mistake, it's the best for the players and all concerned if we make sure that we fix these problems.
Exactly right, yeah. You don't want to get it wrong.
You don't want to get it wrong, because although I don't think anyone involved is likely to, we are playing for a volcanic island, and a volcanic island is worth, I don't know, $1,000, $600, something.
$1,000
like,
US,
it's a pile of money.
1,000 Australian, give or take.
Yeah, so we want to make absolutely sure that people are, preferably not making innocent mistakes, and definitely not making non-innocent non-mistakes.
Exactly right. All right, that's going to be it for this round. We'll be back soon.
Have fun.
All right.